If you're looking to put together a kit to survive civil unrest or other dangerous situations, there are layers involved you need to be familiar with, and that's what we're going to break down in today's video. So I'm seeing a few people put together low visibility loadouts, and the first question that usually comes up is, first of all, why is this video coming together now? And also, what are the layers involved that are required to actually put together a realistic bag for these types of survival? So we are about to get into another election cycle, and regardless of where on the political spectrum you fall, things happen whether you want to be involved in it or not, and it's good to be prepared. So the first thing is going to be understanding that there is layering involved in being able to survive. Now, all of us understand that the biggest thing we're trying to avoid is any form of confrontation. If we're with our family or whether we're by ourselves and we live somewhere else, we just want to get out of wherever this chaos is and just not be involved in it. Especially if we're dealing with crowds of people, hundreds of people, thousands of people, we don't want to be involved in that. So how are we able to kind of be invisible or not identifiable and leave those situations as quickly as possible to get to an area of safety? So that was really the perspective that went into creating this bag and talking about how you're able to utilize it in a way that will be properly efficient. So when we first look at this bag, the number one thing people say is, oh my God, that's not going to be the bag you carry. The reason why I picked such a weird looking bag is that if this is in your vehicle, it's not likely to be something that will be grabbed as opposed to other items you might have in your vehicle. Or again, it looks like so much like not a threat that it doesn't just seem like something that would be high risk to anyone. Now, again, as an adult, if you're walking around with this, it may not look appropriate. So you could get the same style bag in just neutral black or something like that. But for me, I just looked like if this was going to be in the trunk of my car, which again, it shouldn't be left if there's going to be important items in it. It just seems like something that would be more avoided than other items that they might find. Now, again, speaking about layers, the first thing we're going to have to decide is, do we want to be unidentified or do we want to be invisible? And there's a very big difference between those two words that I just used. So opening up the front zipper, this is again, once we assume that something might be happening, we're able to make a decision of one of two options. I have two pieces of material. One is a balaclava, which means that it'll fully cover my face so that my face can't be seen. That means that I'm not identifiable. The second thing I have over here is a high visibility vest, which makes me invisible. There's the difference. This makes me unidentifiable, which means you can't see my face. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen how many things people have been able to get away with just by wearing a high visibility vest. So if you put this on and you have a regular baseball cap and you're walking around, it's not difficult to be just identified as a regular construction worker of any kind and being able to go through places that you might not usually be able to go through just because you look like a certain level of authority, which again has been very helpful in many situations to people. Using this or using this will kind of dictate what situation you might be involved in, and maybe you're able to just get away with not being invisible and getting away in that kind of scenario, or you might be past that and you want to be identifiable, and in this case you'll use a face covering which will allow you to again do different things without being identified. Now, once you get past that layer of what's in the front pocket comes the main pocket. Now, here's going to be where some people get a little bit, nervous about what I'm about to say, but I've seen a lot of people that when they put this bag together, they say that they're going to carry a lighter. And their perspective is that if they need to cause a fire to something to cause a distraction, that might be good enough so that they be able to get the other way. In regards to property damage and in regards to being able to see how long that takes to do, that might be a horrible idea. Now, I'm sure there might be other perspectives involved in what you're going to do there, but you need to be very careful with property destruction and definitely drawing attention if you're trying to set a car on fire or something like that. The alternative route would be to carry a smoke grenade of some kind. Now, the ones that I usually recommend is from a company called IWA. I recently made videos on them. They're much more reliable in regards to their actual mechanism to be able to go off, and I think they're probably much better of an option. Being able to cause a lot of smoke without being able to cause property damage, I think is a very important thing. But if you want to be able to cause non-destructive distractions to the situation you're in, a smoke grenade might be a great option because again, they're not designed to create destruction, but it will cause a lot of smoke and might draw attention to people if they look in that direction. Again, you can see how in regards to layering, it's first being able to be invisible or disappear, but if need be, before you get to the stuff that's next in the bag, trying to create a diversion to anything else that's happening before it's getting to you. Now, after that point, if that's not going to be stuff that you need, comes the main portion of the bag. Now, this whole kit, which you guys might have seen if you followed the channel before, is going to be based on the Vertx Clutch, which is this little system right over here, which allows you to have a huge amount of equipment on you that's able to be thrown on in a very quick moment. Now, whether this is going to be something that feeds into the EDC that you already have, so assuming on the basic you have a firearm with a spare magazine, a knife, and a light, this could be either something that layers onto that to be more, or if it's not something you were able to have on you, we'll have all the equipment in place at once. So you can see how I'm going to open this up, and let's just start breaking it down, going around the clock of what we have over here. So starting at the 12 o'clock position is the attachment point where it'll actually go towards your body. And then right after that, you'll see that there's a tourniquet. You have to assume that medical is always going to be something you might need to deal with. So a tourniquet, which is going to be the most life-saving item, will be right in front. Turning around from that, you see I have a firearm. Now again, this might be something that you'll leave the holster, in this case empty, or you might just have it set up as and staged as a firearm use. So in this case, I have a Glock 45-ish kind of gun that's placed in there. So which gives me, again, if you're living in a free state, it gives you 17 rounds of ammunition in the gun. This one has an optic and is fully ready to go. Right past that is a actual medical kit. So this one I got from SOA Rescue, which I think is a really cool item because it fits into an AR-15 style size pocket. So because of the shape, you're able to actually fit it into a lot of available formats that are available on the market. So it might be a really good option to be able to look at to have on a kit like this. Going past that, on the other side, I do have a radio. Now, again, the radio plays a few different roles. If you have other people that work with you where you might have a system in place to be able to communicate, that'll be kind of option number one. Option number two is this is something that's able to be pulled out of the kit, right? So even if I am still in layer 2, so to speak, where I'm using the construction vest, this is able to pull out. It has a kind of a holster that I got from Buffalo Solutions. So it makes the radio fit right into this little system. But I'm able to pull the radio directly out, and it just adds kind of to the camo of the construction worker, which again adds kind of like a layer of invisibility. So I have a radio on me that I'm just kind of utilizing during that time. If this is going to be a kit that's going to work with your, like, let's say truck gun or things like that, you can add an additional magazine over here. So I have an AR-15 magazine that goes just past that. Again, if that's not something you're going to do, you could utilize this pocket for something else, whether that be additional spare magazines, or that could be where you'll add the smoke grenade during the time that you're going to use it. And then in front of all of that, I'm going to have 2 additional magazines for the pistol that I'm going to be running. So this is a very simple system, but again, the main perspective that I'm trying to get out of this is going to understand the layers of how you're able to avoid, to certain degrees, different things you're able to do until the point that you get to the need of throwing on a system like this, where at that point, it might be entirely different. Now, if you're going to have a rain jacket on you as well, all this is still able to be layered in a way where you could get this item on, which means things might get bad at some point, but you don't want to stage everything at the point that things are already bad. So throwing this on and then throwing on a basic rain jacket will still be able to cover all of this. And then again, downsizing from that, if I just remove the rain jacket, I could first have the layer of having the construction worker. And then if I remove that, I'll still have the balaclava as an option. And this whole kit available to me just by removing my jacket. I think there's still ways that you're able to structure it where you'll be more prepared dealing with different situations, but in a way that's not going to look overly suspicious and hopefully get you out of the way of danger before ever needing to get to a firearm, which is obviously most ideal. If you guys have recommendations of what should be added to this kit or what should be removed from this kit, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. I think, again, before getting to the scenarios where things are already getting bad in the environments we live in, we should be more prepped to deal with that before it becomes an issue. So again, if you have any questions, feedback you'd like to give, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. This is Raziel Cohen with ndftraining.com. Thank you for watching.